Sounds good. Thanks. Um, you know, let me start with you, Efrain. As
Sure.
I'm preparing for these interviews, I'm looking at your background. You're a travel writer. You're fluent in three languages, and which seems like a fairly good fit for your character, who is eclectic. Maybe that's the nicest way of saying it.
Sure.
You know, were you able? Did that help you draw a little bit? Because it's one of those characters that, if you get it wrong, it's going to be really painful to watch. And you hit those spots. I'm wondering, if does your background help a little bit with that?
Absolutely. And I think you're absolutely right that that character was hard to cast. I did hear that quite a bit from production that, it was a challenging character to get right. I'm just really, really fortunate that, throughout the grueling audition process, I was finally picked for it, and I'm very, very glad to hear you say these amazing compliments. Thank you. Yeah, there are lots of similarities, but there are also lots of differences. Yes, I have, gallivanted around the planet, and yes, I do have a penchant for creating ridiculous art even now. But but I also think that and it's also weird because I sometimes have shared it with cast, and I share it like, for example, like during Primo, I was taking a jewelry making class. I've never stopped taking classes long after finishing college. And so, I was taking a drawing class and a jewelry making class, and I would bring stuff to show just so that we could both make fun of it. And I never got them to make fun of it with me. They were always so supportive, and regardless of whatever ridiculous, macaroni necklace I was bringing in, they were just like, "It's amazing, make me one." And so yeah, there were plenty of similarities. I think where the biggest difference is that I'm very grounded in reality, right? And so I'm very uncomfortable with talking about universe as an entity. Whereas for Mondo, it's just a very common thing. Universe explains all.
Jonathan, I suspect as an actor, it was an interesting experience doing this character, in that your delivery has to be just a specific way. Um, and it's, I mean, he has a very specific way of delivering things, of looking at the world. And once again, you have to be right there. And in an ensemble, you don't always get enough time to work it out the way you would like if it was two people in a scene.
I got to work that out in the rehearsal process. That just happened to be the audition process. It was a character that developed over the course of the callback and then the testing series. And interestingly, when I got to set, it was already probably 90% of the way there, and they were really supportive of the character, they being Shay and Mike and Lisa and Peter, all of the people who were behind the scenes. They really loved it, and so they asked me to lean into it, which is what I did.
Well, Johnny, I like your character in that. I mean, I don't want to be, he's not dumb, but
Oh.
he just looks at things in a different way. Let me put it that way. And, I would suspect it's fun to play that kind of character, because you don't want to be walking around like that all the time in real life.
Or do you? I don't know.
Well, maybe, yeah.
No,
Ignorance
Or
is
are
bliss,
you?
yeah.
this is bliss. Yeah, no, I think what was fun about the character too is that I would say a lot of times I just have to come into a scene and just say something ridiculous. I don't have to necessarily do the heavy lifting where I have a ton of dialogue like Ignacio or Christina has to carry this full scene. I get to come in, say some fun, weird things, and then just I'm out, you know? But Rollie, what I really like about Rollie is that while he does have those moments that you're kind of referring to, of any of the brothers, I would say he's probably the most sentimental. He's got a lot of heart. There's a lot of scenes where he's imparting wisdom into Rafa, about life and about things that he's gone through and how to kind of get through them. And I think it's cool that we see both sides of that character. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was a pleasure and a lot of fun to play Rollie for sure.
Well, let me sort of throw it out to any of you three. Um, I think maybe in the last episode, someone describes the uncles as like minions. Uh, and it's a lot. And I'm wondering, number one, do any of you have an experience of having a family or friends where it's just a lot? Because I would think it would be exhausting after a while to be around these guys. I know. Should I say something or not?
It was I don't have a big family, so this was really a treat for me, because Primo introduced me to not only my TV family but also the production family. It became a huge family on set. And what's interesting is that no matter how many people there were around, it always seemed to work. And the group dynamics, I think, really took hold with us, and someone was always holding something for someone else, right? So there was always joy, there was always all of the emotions, all the wonderful emotions on set just worked for all of us. So it never felt too much for me. I don't know, how did you all feel?
Yeah, I mean, I think that learning process, learning from each other on set, I definitely carried over to when we weren't on set. But even now, like, all right, so Primo's going to premiere on the 19th, right? And you and I have had these conversations. I've had these conversations with both of you that I traditionally just have a really hard time celebrating successes. You know, I'm always just afraid that the other shoe will drop. And what we see on Primo is that, you know, if you're lucky enough to have people in your life who want to celebrate you, you know, the least that you can do is let them just get out of the way and let them. And so for me, I mean, I'm still taking lessons away from the show, even though the process on our end is complete, and now we get to enjoy it with friends, family, and hopefully a cool audience who supports it.
Yeah.
You know, how about you, Johnny? What was your experience like working with such a big ensemble?
I mean, honestly, Rick, it was one of the best experiences I've ever had on set. Hands down. I mean, from top to bottom, from the crew to producers, the writers, full cast. I mean, it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. I think it's rare that happens. Worked on a bunch of other different things, and you know, sometimes people don't really get along. It's just it's inevitable. You know, you're working in a creative space, like people are not going to always agree. It's going to happen. But I think what one of the reasons why I really worked on this specifically was that everyone just felt so grateful. Everyone felt like there was this opportunity here to really do something special, and I think everyone really recognized that. So it felt like any ego was kind of checked at the door, and people just wanted to come play, you know. And also credit to Shay and the whole writing team, you know, for writing just something that was just honestly just such a treat, you know, just good writing that made it fun, made it loose, allowed us to ad lib or improv and stuff like that. Yeah, and then, you know, you're shooting Albuquerque, you know, other than, you know, Efraín was from there, but most of us are not from there. Again, you kind of forced to just, you know, get to know each other a little bit. And yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I hope we get to do it again.
Well, you know, let me wrap it up with you guys this way, and I'll start with you, Jonathan, and maybe Efraín and Johnny can wrap it up. Obviously, you enjoyed the experience, but if you know, Shay came to you and said, "Okay, I want you to do this character. I don't want you to do the one that you ended up doing. Which one would you think would have been the most fun for you to do? You know, either because you like the character, you think this would just be fun from an acting standpoint. Which one of the other uncles?
Mondo, definitely Mondo. I want to be able to do my fortune cookie wisdom every single day. Also, it's nice not having to worry about where I'm going to sleep at night.
Would you grow your hair long?
Oh yeah. It would be Antonio Banderas in Desperado. It would be
nice and flowing, yes.
Oh like yeah.
Farrah Fawcett, yes.
Yeah, clearly we have to see that, I think, now. So how about you, Efraín? Which other uncle would you have picked?
I mean, it's hard for me because I think one of the cool parts about seeing everyone's work is that it renders my imagination useless to cast anyone else in these roles. I think everyone's just really well cast. Everyone really owned their character and took it to heart. And so I think things are fine the way they are. If Shay came to me and asked me that
is such a Mondo answer.
I was going to say that's incredibly diplomatic.
I appreciate it. Very.
How about you, Johnny? Are you taking the diplomatic way?
I know, right? I guess I should. I have to right now. I actually auditioned for Jonathan's part as well. And I remember when I read his part and I had Rollie's, I was like, Rollie just feels so much more right to me. I honestly didn't quite know what to do with his, you know what I mean? And then when I see what he did, I'm like, oh, bro, you totally nailed it. Like whatever he brought to it was just there. So if I had to pick anybody, I wish I could play Rafa, honestly. I think that would be, I'm just kidding.
That's good. Oh, that's nice.
I'm waiting to see where you're going with this. So, you know.
No, just kidding. No, yeah, no, I mean, honestly, every uncle has such a unique personality that playing any one of them would be so fun, you know, like just to play around with different things. Like Mondo's got so much stuff to play with. Ryan, you know, with the whole banking thing, and like Mike with the military stuff. Like it's just, everyone's got just distinct personalities that it's just really cool to see it, you know.
Well, guys, I really enjoyed the season, and congratulations on it. I appreciate you taking the time to do this. Thanks a lot.
Thanks,
Thank you, Rick.
Have a great week.
Take care.
You too. Bye.